In past wars, information furnished by prisoners of war such as these has often helped save the lives of American combat soldiers. Prisoners may in all likelihood possess important tactical information at the time of their capture. This information may be divulged to their captors to become part of the overall tactical intelligence picture. The role assumed by the capturing unit has always been critical. If the troops who take the prisoner understand their responsibility fully, they can make an important contribution to the success of intelligence interrogation. If they do not, they may unknowingly undermine intelligence. The individual prisoner of war is required to tell only his name, rank, serial number, and date of birth, according to the rules of the Geneva Convention. In today's uneasy world, the American soldier is constantly faced with the possibility that he may once again be called upon to fight. In any part of the world, on short notice, he may find himself under circumstances where the capturing of prisoners would become a part of his job as a fighting man. All combat units are faced with captured enemy either by chance or assignment. The method of handling them must never be treated lightly. The enemy might or might not resemble enemies of the past. He might resemble this man, or this one. An unknown enemy waits, hidden, to ambush an American supply vehicle. Enemy forces who have infiltrated our lines to do as much damage as possible. A day later, a surprise American attack is launched. Tactical intelligence has indicated that enemy infiltrators are withdrawing along a certain fortified route. An infantry squad in the attack comes upon an enemy shelter and proceeds to flush out and capture its occupants. Two members of the raiding party attempt to escape, but their effort proves futile. Surrender appears to be the better course of action. The war is now over for this group of prisoners, or is it? Consider for a moment the problem of this sergeant. The chance of battle has thrust 4 enemy soldiers in the path of his advance. They wish to surrender and save their lives. At this precise moment, the ties which bound them to their units, their commanders, and their country are severed. During the hours immediately ahead of them, they will be fearful and uncertain, disoriented and vulnerable to skilled intelligence interrogation. The first step is to disarm and then search the prisoners. Weapons taken from the prisoners should be evacuated through normal channels. Every capturing unit is responsible for delivering prisoners to the next highest echelon. After a thorough search, items such as gas masks and first aid packets are returned to the prisoner for his protection while he is in the combat zone. In this combat situation, evacuation of weapons is impractical. Therefore, they are destroyed. So that the squad can resume its advance, a rifleman will be dispatched to accompany the prisoners back to the nearest collection point. Here they will be questioned by the interrogation of prisoners of war personnel, referred to as the IPW team. The fear and disorientation of some prisoners places them at a decided disadvantage. Uncertainty about their future inclines them toward cooperation. Even when stubbornness or arrogance is encountered in a prisoner, a skilled interrogator may maneuver him into divulging information. The infantry squad can expect further contact with the enemy, so the squad leader is anxious to push on. He cannot afford lost time. The manner in which the prisoners are treated from this point until they are turned over for interrogation will bear heavily upon the information to be gained from them. The man charged with the responsibility for delivering prisoners to the rear should at all times try to preserve their condition at the moment of capture. This soldier is inexperienced in handling prisoners. He doesn't know it yet, but kindness and laxity will lead him to make mistakes. The small comfort of a cigarette to a freshly captured prisoner might not seem important. However, it might be exactly the reassurance he needs. If prisoners are to be of any value to intelligence later on, even small comfort should be denied them. A short distance behind the American advance, a communications team is scouting a possible location for radio transmission facilities. The presence of an unknown person here can mean anything. Enemy infiltration and guerrilla activity are well known to these troops, and there is every reason for caution. If a man inside is only an unlucky civilian caught up in the backwash of the advance, he has no reason to hide. But if he is something else, what do we have here? Could this be an enemy soldier, armed or unarmed? Perhaps a farmer or a displaced peasant. But whatever, he's lucky to be alive. There is an unexpected catch.
Shut up! Get over there. All right, come on out now. Hands on your heads. Hands on your heads. Get over there with the other two.
Check the inside. Grover, move in. Smitty. Search them carefully. We don't know who they are or what they got on them. All right, knock off that conversation. No talking, understand?
Strict silence should be enforced at all times, with military and civilian prisoners alike. A thorough search is imperative. These capturing troops communicate only what is necessary to the enemy prisoners. They ask no questions because they know that only skilled, authorized intelligence personnel are permitted to interrogate them. To the extent that it is possible, prisoners should also be segregated. Civilians from military, male from female, and officers from NCOs and other enlisted men. Tagging the prisoners with important information such as time and date of capture, place or sector of capture, circumstances of capture, and unit making the capture serves as a quick and valuable reference for the intelligence personnel who will interrogate them. If ready-made tags are not available, a satisfactory substitute such as ordinary paper, is far more helpful than no identification at all. This information aids the interrogator to begin his questioning. It gives him a common starting point relative to information known both to the prisoner and the interrogator. Documents found during the search will accompany the prisoners to the rear.
As soon as these people are ready, I want you to take them straight back to the collection point.
Okay. I don't know whether or not any of these papers mean anything, but I figured I'd pick them up anyway.
Well, picking them up is all you can do. It's not our job to decide whether they're important. That's up to intelligence.
All papers, documents, and other materials should be identified with the prisoners from whom the items were taken. Intelligence personnel will evaluate and translate them where necessary. They may be used also to verify information obtained from prisoners or other sources.
I think she's trying to tell us that she and her old man here don't belong with the others.
We'll leave that up to the interrogators. And give them these things.
Maybe they just live here, Sarge.
Maybe. Maybe not. Anyway, intelligence will find out. Take them back to the collection point. Keep them separated and keep them quiet. Don't give them anything to eat and don't give them anything to drink. No conversation, no cigarettes, no rest. We know 2 of them are soldiers, but who knows what the other 2 are. When you get them back there, turn over all this stuff with them and tell the IPW team as much as you can about this place.
You know, I've been thinking. This doesn't look like much of a farm.
We're not buying the place, we're just occupying it for a while.
Well, nothing's been planted around here for a while, and these people look well fed. They're not half starved like the other farmers we've seen.
Tell that to intelligence, too. Now get on back there, and remember we got a job to do here, so don't take all day. Oh, one other thing. Don't let them get away.
If the soldier responsible for these prisoners did not know in advance how best to handle them, he has been well instructed by his sergeant. If he carries out his instructions and returns his prisoners speedily to the collection point, he will have accomplished a task of vital importance to intelligence, to his unit, and to himself. But what of the other soldier and his prisoners? Will the 4 enemy soldiers in his charge be delivered to the collection point in the condition in which they were captured? Even though his squad leader provided tags for the prisoners, he failed to use them. The prisoners have been prevented from escaping, but the guard has failed to segregate them or to enforce silence. The enemy lieutenant has had ample time to bolster the confidence of his men. Because they are not under careful observation at all times, the prisoners manage to dispose of identifying unit insignia. The guard has been careless of time. He allows the prisoners to relax physically when they should be moved to the collection point with all possible haste. A prisoner wants a drink? Well, he guesses there's no harm in that. However, he has already offered the prisoners unspoken reassurance, which has helped allay their fear and uncertainty. Confidence now characterizes the officer. He asked his corporal about an overlay he was carrying when they were captured. Did he dispose of it? No, he didn't get a chance. But he will try to get rid of it now while the guard's looking the other way. Or is he? This soldier has made enough mistakes. This time his eyes were open. Now he is determined to handle things differently. No more favors. He remembers something he should never have forgotten in the first place. This is still the enemy he is dealing with. At the prisoner collection point, a short distance behind the American advance, 2 members of the IPW team have been busy all morning interrogating a number of prisoners. However, no useful information has turned up on the growing command problem of enemy troops infiltrating our lines to work with irregular forces disrupting our operations.
Well, at least we got some information about the terrain.
Yeah, but our intelligence officer will be a lot happier if we could come up with something concrete on the routes they're using to get through our lines.
If we could only catch a few of their special forces types.
Maybe. But none of them seem to be waiting around to be taken prisoner. With our units dispersed over such a wide front, there are 100 places they could be getting through undetected.
Well, no time to worry about it now. Here comes more work.
What do you want, these guys?
Over here!
Hey, break it up in there. You up front. Go over there.
Why weren't these men tagged?
Well, I didn't get around to it. I'm sorry.
Sure would help us if you guys had learned the right procedures. Where were they captured?
We flushed them out of a shelter about a mile north of here.
Take anything from them?
Oh, I got this from the officer. I don't know whether it's important or not.
Might be. What else did you find when you searched them?
Well, I didn't exactly search them. The officer was trying to get rid of that thing when I caught him.
This is all you took from the whole bunch?
Yeah, I'm afraid so.
They don't seem to be very cooperative.
Did they find anything?
Yeah, personal effects. Judging from their good physical condition and the berets they're wearing, they must be from some elite outfit. But who knows which one? They got rid of their unit identification.
You know what their unit might have been?
No, but they did have tabs on their collars. I remember that. They must have taken them off when I wasn't looking.
What color were they? Blue? Red?
I don't remember exactly.
The prisoners aren't going to be much help either. Every one of them is scared of that lieutenant. Did you see him speak to any of his men after they were captured?
Well, they all talked a little. I didn't see any harm in it.
No, none at all, pal. Except that right now they're as cocky a bunch as I've ever seen. What did you do, throw a party for them on the way in here?
Well, I was pretty easy on them, I guess.
And that only makes it tough on us. Next time, do us a favor and bring them in without relaxing them first. Makes a big difference in their willingness to answer any questions.
Look, we know you can't remember everything, but we depend on you guys. What we learn from one of these characters could save somebody's neck. Maybe yours.
Next time, remember, will you?
I sure will.
The prisoners brought from the farm have been handled correctly, but with somewhat harder gloves than those captured at the shelter. Everything is in order. They are properly tagged. They have not been permitted to talk, to drink, to smoke, eat, or rest. They are still very close to the condition in which they were captured. The interrogators observe each of the prisoners. Those who appear most susceptible to productive interrogation are singled out and questioned privately. It remains for the interrogator to extract whatever the prisoners may know that is of value. The observations of the man assigned to bring them in also provide information which may turn out to be useful. One by one, the prisoners are carefully interrogated. Certain facts emerge, and from them, some possible answers to intelligence requirements begin to shape up. The male civilian insists he is only an innocent farmer. Because of the unknown status of the two civilian prisoners, counterintelligence personnel will be notified and close coordination will be maintained.
We sent in some prisoners a while ago. I see you got them all right. We picked up some odds and ends around that farmhouse later on I thought you might be interested in.
Matches, compass, money, map.
Looks like a survival kit.
That's not all. Under the floor, we found food, grenades, ammunition.
Good, good. That's just what we suspected.
I'm taking all that stuff by supply on my way back. Oh, there was some gasoline, too. And this. With my compliments.
Now we're getting somewhere.
The most important find of all, an enemy cryptographic book for irregular forces, which will be forwarded to the nearest Army Security Agency. Not the least of their discoveries is that the code book found at the farm bears the name of the lieutenant captured on the battlefield. The enemy officer obviously knows more than he has indicated. The IPW team will pursue their interrogation further. Direct questions are still unsuccessful. But the simple exposure of the lieutenant to the two soldiers captured at the farm establishes one more important fact: recognition. They are all members of the same unit. Meanwhile, all of the papers taken with the prisoners are studied in detail. Although coordinates were lacking on the first overlay, the second one is clearly marked, revealing major routes used by irregular forces to reach a rendezvous point not far from the farm. Yes, what about the farm? Perhaps the farmer's wife can tell the team what they want to know. The passage of time has added to her anxiety. The interrogator correctly guesses that she will be the most willing to talk when he informs her of the seriousness of her own and her husband's situation. Finally, she does. Yes, they were helping the enemy, but only because they had been threatened. Infiltration routes? No, but perhaps her husband. Yes, her husband knows. These points are where the enemy soldiers cross the lines. The day has been productive for tactical intelligence. Bit by bit, piece by piece, the information gathered from two small groups of prisoners has thrown valuable light upon a pressing command requirement. These prisoners will be sent along to higher echelons, where they will be subject to further interrogation. Mistakes were made on this day in the care and handling of prisoners. These mistakes could be very serious and costly. But where care and proper handling were exercised, the benefits to the IPW team were considerable. The combination of sensible handling by responsible troops and skilled interrogation furnished some of the answers required by higher headquarters and troop commanders. Tomorrow, on another battlefield, this may happen again. What is saved in time, equipment, and lives may not be easily calculated, unless the time, the equipment, or the life is yours.